College sports have been played since the late 1800s, with Ivy League schools being the first to play. The games itself have not changed a lot since then. However, college athletes have been getting better, faster, stronger, and more competitive, with big-time TV and merchandise deals being made every year worth billions of dollars. Stadiums and arenas being packed to the brim with enthusiastic fans cheering for their favorite team and player. A person could not go anywhere without seeing advertising about the big game being played. Star athletes on the sports teams are celebrities everywhere they go, with jerseys being made of them, video games of themselves, and other endorsements and multimedia postings. They are indeed living like a rock star at a young age. But what if I told you these young adults are being cheated off of for millions of dollars? These student athletes are doing all of this while being a normal college student, going to class, maintaining a certain GPA to play, and studying. On top of this, they have to go to mandatory workouts, practice, interviews for the team, and photo shoots. They have a lot on their plate for an 18 to 23-year-old. Activities like these are comparable to a professional sports player, but there's one big difference. One gets paid while the other isn't getting a single penny. Recently, there's been talks of paying these college athletes. People like the idea. These athletes are doing more work than the average student. The typical D1 college football player devotes 43.3 hours per week. That is 3.3 more hours than the standard American work week. On top of that, many teams travel across the nation playing in stretches of games that last little more than a week at a time. They miss around a quarter of classes per semester, which is very hard to catch up on. And they get treated like any other normal college student inside the classroom. Paying college athletes isn't as easy as it seems. For athletes to be paid, the whole concept of amateurism needs to be reassessed to today's student athletes rather than the 1980s student athletes. Back then, it was impossible to recruit a player for their athletic ability, and even more impossible to give them a college scholarship, which was introduced in the 1950s with the only money generator was the sale of home tickets. Now, kids are getting recruited for purely athletic ability and given scholarship with what the school pulls in with boosters, TV contracts, and more. With billions of dollars being circulated by TV sales alone, colleges are switching entire sports teams to the conference with the best TV deals for financial reasons alone. These colleges are acting like a Fortune 500 business, not a non-profit organization. They give the term student athletes to avoid that athletes could be seen as employees by the state, which would give them workers' compensation, unionization, and wages, which they do not have now. The highest paid non-profit employees in a majority of the states are not people who work to cure diseases, get clean water, or help the homeless. They are the coaches of football or basketball teams and administrators. In 40 of the 50 U.S. states, the highest paid public official is the head basketball or football coach of their respected universities, with an average salary of around $2 million a year. Colleges recruit top talent on and off the field. Colleges are more selective in their admittance procedures when their sports teams are famous or successful. Colleges like the University of Alabama and Louisiana State University are top notches on the field, but in the classroom they are far from a top 10 school. They can change tuition rates that reflect those of an Ivy League institution. One main reason why we should be paying these college athletes is the successes on the field will improve the application rates and the caliber of admitted students will rise. This is called the Flutie effect. When Boston College quarterback Doug Flutie won the Heisman Trophy, which is the most coveted award for the best college player that year, the undergraduate admissions increased by 25 points, and their average SAT score of freshmen went up by 110 points. This happens almost every year, with smaller schools like Gonzaga in the March Madness tournament and the success of Boise State football. Schools are using their athletes as school marketers without pay. The NCAA is a corrupt, non-profit organization that needs to do the right thing.